Hi, it's Mike Pangia, and today's project is eggplant. Eggplant in a way that you may have never seen or tasted before. It's one of my very favorite dishes in all the world. I have to give credit to a boyhood friend of mine's mother, Pina Scotto, so I call it in her honor, eggplant a la Pina. Let me warn you, it's a fabulous tasting dish, but it's a lot of work, a lot of fussing. So you have to be committed before you're going to start this thing. Let's get into it. Here's what you'll need for eggplant a la Pina. 2 medium eggplants, a box of kosher salt for sprinkling, 3 cups of oil for frying, 2 eggs plus 1/4 cup of water beaten together, 2 cups of unflavored breadcrumbs, 1 cup of tomato sauce, 3/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. The first thing we'll have to do is peel the eggplants. They're going into my compost bucket, in case you were wondering what that is. Once they're peeled, cut off a little bit of the small end where the bud is. After they're skinned and trimmed, we want to cut them the long way into slices just a little less than 1/4 inch thick. I'm going to use the mandolin here, but you certainly can do it with a carving knife. Here's what we're looking for, a long, thin slice. All sliced and ready to continue. Next, we're going to have to press and drain the eggplant. If you have something flat and rigid like my large cutting board here, overlap the edge of the sink a little bit, prop it up with something. I've got a piece of 2x2 lumber here that I use. I have it overlapping the edge of the sink so any drainage can run down into the sink. Now we'll place the eggplant slices in layers on this cutting board. Single layer, not overlapping. They can be touching, of course, but we don't want them overlapping. Wide end against skinny end, make them fit better. When each layer is done, sprinkle lightly with kosher salt. The 2 eggplants sliced the way I've done it ended up creating 3 layers. Now I have a sheet pan which is about the size of the same cutting board that I'm going to lay on top, and then I will weight it to press down on the eggplant. To create a heavy weight, I'm using a cast iron skillet and a pot filled with water. You're going to have to improvise this part for how you do it. Watch closely and you can see the drops of water dripping off the edge of the cutting board. You'll have to leave this set up overnight. The eggplant has been pressed overnight, so we can remove the weight, uncover it, and let's get a look. Being pressed and salted, the eggplant has undergone a remarkable transformation. Watch as I rinse each piece. I'm rinsing the salt off, and I can do something amazing here. I can fold it up and wring it out like a dishcloth. it doesn't break or crack or anything else because of the salting and pressing. It's like a fabric. So we're going to rinse all of these, wash the salt off, wring them out, let them dry a little bit, and we'll go on to the next step. Washed, rinsed, and wrung out, and ready to proceed. Our next task is to quick fry each piece of eggplant. Now we're frying on each side till they start to look a little toasty. Probably a minute or a minute and a half on each side. All the eggplant strips have been quick fried and set to drain on paper towels. Now I'm going to beat up 2 eggs. I've added a couple of tablespoons of water to the eggs to make it a little bit looser. Then I have about 2 cups of plain breadcrumbs, unflavored, in a food bag. Each eggplant will get dipped in the egg, put in the bag with the breadcrumbs, shaken about a little bit. Shake it off. And set to quickly fry. Actually, these little crispy critters are quite tasty on their own, and you might be tempted to eat them just the way they are. But I recommend you be patient and have them fully executed the way we're doing them now. Remember, these are very thin, so it doesn't take long for them to crisp up. You'll see the toasty looking color on them when they're done. That's what you're looking for. All breaded and fried. Next, we'll assemble the finished dish. The first thing we'll have to do is grate some Parmesan cheese. This is imported Italian Parmesan cheese, which is what I recommend you use. The moment of truth is upon us. I have some of the tomato sauce that we made the other day on my video, and what I'm going to do is just kind of wet the bottom of this casserole dish with the sauce before I put the eggplant in. There we are. Now we layer the eggplant. When we have one layer made, we very sparsely sauce the top of it. Once you have a thin coat of tomato sauce on that first layer of eggplant, get some of your grated Parmesan cheese and very lightly sprinkle it on. Then repeat. Put another row of eggplant on top. Sauce that. And once again, lightly sprinkle your Parmesan on top. Then repeat. Here's what your finished dish should look like. When you serve it, use a fork and serve one piece of eggplant at a time rather than cutting through and serving blocks like you would lasagna. And don't heat it up. It's best served at room temperature. Well, my friends, we made it to the end. A lot of steps, a lot of work, but trust me, it'll be worth it. What a beautiful dish this is. The taste is incredible. Okay, that wraps it up. As usual, any questions or comments you have, put them in the comments and make sure you are subscribed. You could also tell your friends that are interested in food and cooking that they should subscribe too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.